The ancient Greeks had it right when they said that moderation in all things is the key to a happy life. Sometimes people tell themselves they don't have time. I don't have time for my family. I don't have time to exercise. I don't have time for this or that. But whenever you feel yourself getting out of sync, losing that essential balance, and especially when you feel like you've completely run out of time, that's precisely when you most need to stop and think. Here's the powerful question to ask yourself. What would I do if I only had 6 months to live? If you find yourself working too hard, or constantly neglecting your relationships, not spending time with the people you care about and who genuinely care about you, then truly ask yourself that question. What would I do if I only had 6 months to live? And if the answer is that you would spend more time with the important people in your life, the time to start spending that time is now. What would you do with 6 months left? It's an old joke, but doctors always say they've never met a businessman on his deathbed who said, "Boy, I wish I'd spent more time at the office." The truth is, balance and moderation in all things actually increase your productivity and your efficiency. Remember, the only reason you are working is so that you can enjoy the great things of life, your people, your relationships, the things that truly make you happy, and so on. Imagine this scenario. You are financially independent, you have 20 million in the bank, but you only have 10 years left to live. You'll enjoy superb health and you have all the money you need, but you must work at something. You can't just be a layabout. So, if you could work at anything and you had all the money you needed and you didn't want to waste a single moment, what career would you choose? If you could wave a magic wand and have all the talent and skill necessary to be successful in any field, which one would you choose for yourself? Then the action you take is simple. Start doing some research on that field. Start working in it part-time, maybe even for free. Read books, take courses, and talk to people who are already doing it. I have personally spoken to literally thousands of people over the years who did exactly that. They eventually changed out of their current job, sometimes within the same company, sometimes to a totally new path. A job where they weren't satisfied before, into a new one that they absolutely loved. They became a star in that new job. And you can do the same. Everybody can do this. I'm going to share with you my favorite law of time management. It's called the Law of 3. This single law alone will enable you to become one of the most productive and successful people in your world. The Law of 3 is based on my 30 years of study into time management. What it essentially says is this: if you make a list of everything you have to do in a week or a month, you'll probably come up with 20 or 30 tasks. Some people write down 40 or 50 activities, but if you look closely at that list, you will find that there are only 3 activities that you engage in that account for 90% of the value you contribute in your life. Wherever you are, whatever your role, there are only 3 things that account for 90% of your happiness. Only 3 things. This law of 3 works everywhere, and it works for everyone, whether you're a doctor, an investment banker, a salesperson, a business owner, or a student. There are always 3. So here is the process. You make a list of everything you do and then you ask yourself 3 questions. Question 1. If I could only do one thing on this list all day long, which one activity would have the greatest positive impact on my life? Or you could ask, which one activity would help me to double my income faster than anything else? The answer is usually pretty obvious. You put a circle around it. Question 2. If I could only do 2 things all day long, what would be the second most valuable thing that I could do? You go through your list, and you'll find the answer for number 2. Question 3. If I could only do 3 things all day long, what would be number 3? You circle it. I put every one of my students through this exercise, and they are always astonished because in just a few minutes, they clearly see the 3 most important things they do to achieve their goals of health, wealth, and happiness. The rule, therefore, is this: do fewer things in your daily life, but do more important things and do them more of the time. And then get better, improve in each one of those 3 areas. There are 3 things you do that are more important than everything else. These might change over time, but you must be clear about them. If you start working on only those 3 things, you will very quickly double your productivity, performance, and output. If you can concentrate on the 3 most important things you do, well, there are 4 requirements for you to make these techniques work for you. We call these the 4 Ds. Desire. You must have a burning desire to be effective at time management. Decision. You must make a clear decision that you are going to become an expert in this subject. You are going to take this course, you are going to use these materials, and you are going to practice them over and over again. We've found that in the absence of a decision, nothing ever happens. You need a clear, unequivocal do-or-die, burn-the-bridges decision that this is a subject you are going to master. Discipline. You must discipline yourself to practice and repeat good time management techniques over and over again. In fact, we say that time management is self-discipline in action. The ability to discipline yourself more than anything else is going to determine your success in life. Determination. The fourth D to become excellent in time management is determination. You must have the ability to persist. You must have the determination to keep on keeping at it, and at it long enough until you become very, very good in this field. But I promise you this. The payoff is tremendous. You see, time management is really life management. Everything you do to improve the quality of your time management will improve and enhance every part of your life. You can even state it this way. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your time management. The quality of your life will be determined by the way you use your time minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day, because your time is your life. In every single study of high-performing men and women, we find that intense result orientation goes hand in hand with big payoffs in life. You see, it's not how much time you put in or the activities you engage in or how sincere, intelligent, competent, or capable you are. It's only what you produce, the results you get from the time you put in, that counts in determining your rewards. This includes not only your psychic rewards, like how good you feel about yourself, but also your financial rewards. You are always paid in direct proportion to the quality and the quantity of the results that you produce. We call this the law of sowing and reaping, the law of cause and effect. The cause of everything that happens to you is your ability to get results. Therefore, if you want to increase the quality and quantity of your rewards, you have to think all the time about increasing the quality and quantity of your results. Now, the second point is this: most people are very unproductive. Most people cannot do a full day's work if their life depended upon it. In fact, every study I've ever seen suggests that the average person works at only 50% of capacity. In most work environments, about 30% of the work time is spent in socializing, gossiping, wasting time talking, chit-chatting, hanging around the water cooler, reading the newspaper, drinking coffee, and so on. What does this mean to you? It means that since the average person is working at 50% or less of capacity, there are tremendous opportunities for you. If you'll just do some of the things we talk about, you can rapidly move ahead of other people. The starting point of getting things done is the quality of neatness. Neatness means you start with a clean desk and you end with a clean desk. You start with a clean briefcase and you end with a clean briefcase. You take the time to make sure that your entire working environment looks neat, professional, productive, and effective. Remember this, it's not just what you do, but it's the perception of other people of what you do that counts. I read a story by a self-made millionaire who built 5 successful companies, and one of their critical rules was that every single person kept a clean desk. Now, the fourth key in getting things done is the importance of focus. Focus leads to clarity, and we talk about this over and over again. Focus means you're absolutely clear about what you're trying to accomplish. It means you're absolutely clear about your key result areas and why you're on the payroll. We say that fuzzy focus leads to fuzzy results. Clear focus leads to clear results. This means you must take the time to think. Take the time to think through. Why am I on the payroll? What have I been hired to accomplish? What are my key result areas? What are my core functions? What are the 20% of the things that I do that account for 80% of my results? The starting point in getting things done is focus and clarity. I call this adjusting the camera all the time so you keep your focus very, very clear. Well, the next key principle is concentration. Once you've decided on the most important idea to achieve your most important goal, you have to concentrate single-mindedly on one thing until it's complete. Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, the richest man in the world and the third richest man, were at a dinner party at Bill Gates' home last year. There were about 100 guests at the reception. These 3 men, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and Bill Gates' father, are good friends. They were standing and talking when one of the other guests came up and said, "Excuse me, gentlemen. You are 3 of the most important people in the world. What would you say is the most important key to success today?" They stopped talking and they all turned and said, "Focus. Focus is the most important quality for success today. We're so surrounded by so many distractions that the ability to focus is more important for success than any other quality." I developed a philosophy when I was young and broke. If rich, successful people tell you to do something, you should do it. If they tell you that this is a key to their success, then you should at least practice it for a while to see if it applies to you. What I have learned and what I learned coaching my business owners is that I taught them how to focus. I taught them how to select specific goals and activities in each area of their life, and how to focus like a laser beam on one goal at a time. If you can do that, you can conquer the world. In reality, concentration is where all the work in time management leads us to. It is the ability to concentrate 100% on one thing, setting priorities on the most important thing, and to stay with that single task until it's finished. Concentration means moving forward in a straight line toward the goals and objectives you've clearly identified. It means concentrating without diversion or distraction. Focus and concentration, I believe, based on 25 years of research, are the reasons for success and happiness in life. Conversely, the reasons for a lack of success and unhappiness are a lack of focus and a lack of concentration. I have found the most important time management or personal productivity principle of all. Make a list of everything you do in the morning before you start work. Then, select the one item on that list that's more important than any others in terms of potential consequences. Then, start on that one task and work on it 100% of the time until it's complete. If you can do that, you can double and triple your productivity and become one of the highest paid and most respected people in your world. Select your most important task, start on it immediately, and work on it 100% of the time until it's complete. Because here's what I discovered in 30 years of studying and writing books on time management. Task completion is the key to success. It is not the tasks that you work on, but it's only the tasks that you complete. If you're a student, it's completing your assignments and your reports. If you're a salesperson, it's completing the sales. If you're a business person, it's completing different transactions. Everything in life is about completing tasks. Now, here's a wonderful payoff. When you complete an important task, it gives you an increased sense of self-esteem and personal power. Your self-confidence goes up, you get more energy and more ideas. You feel happy about yourself. Whenever you complete a task, your brain gives you a rush of endorphins, and endorphins make you happy, more alert, and more creative. They even strengthen your immune system so that you're less likely to get sick. So, you'll find that successful people are always starting and completing tasks, and especially they start and complete them on time. What does this require? It requires our old friend, and sometimes enemy, self-discipline. What we know about task completion is that not only is it the key to the future, not only is it the key to getting more, greater, and better opportunities, but important task completion, doing something that's important to you and carrying it through and finishing it 100%, is a tremendous source of energy, enthusiasm, and high self-esteem. Men and women who are working consistently on getting important things done and staying with it to the complete end are more positive. They're more optimistic. They're more self-confident. They're full of assurance in themselves, and they get more opportunities to complete more tasks. And here's the flip side. Completing low-priority tasks leads to stress. If you work and you get a lot of little things done, but they're not moving you toward the accomplishment of things that are really important to you, what happens is you just feel crummy as a result. We find that the average working person works about 1,600 hours a year, and an average executive or business owner works about 2,000 hours a year. So, take your annual income and divide it by 2,000. Let's say you're earning $100,000 a year. Divided by 2,000, that means you're earning $50 an hour. This is your hourly rate. You can include all your benefits and pensions, but whatever the number is, let's say your hourly income is $50 an hour. That means by Ricardo's law, the law of comparative advantage as formulated by David Ricardo, you don't do anything that pays less than $50 an hour. You only do things that pay you $50 an hour or more, or that people would pay you £50 or more to do. Everything else you delegate. If there's something that someone else can do for $10 an hour, you hire somebody to do that. $20 an hour? $30 an hour? You keep hiring people who can do tasks at a lower hourly rate than yourself. Now, here is the great discovery, and this can be life-changing. I call it the law of three. The law of three says that no matter how many things you do, how many tasks you do in a week or a month, and it's usually 20 or 30, 3 of those tasks account for 90% of your value. Only 3. You make a list of all your tasks. I do this with my business owners and I have them go through this and they're astonished. They double their income within 30 days because I ask them the 3 magic questions. Magic question 1. If you could only do one thing on this list, one task on this list all day long, Which one task would have the greatest positive impact on your career? It will usually it will jump out at you. So you put a circle around it. Magic question 2. If you could only do 2 things all day long, which would be number 2? You put a circle around that. Magic question 3. If you could only do 3 things all day long, which would be number 3? Put a circle around that. And suddenly it's almost like all these other tasks fade away, like in a camera shot in a movie. They fade and those 3 tasks are sitting there like 3 magic tabs. You realize, oh my God, those are the big 3. Everything else is secondary. Everything else can be done by someone else or done later, or not done at all. And then you focus on the 3. So here is the rule for doubling your income and doubling it again. I'll repeat it again. Do fewer things but do more important things and do them more often and get better at them. Repeat. Do fewer things, the big 3. Do more important things. Do more of them, spend more of your day working on those 3 tasks, and then get better at those tasks so you can get more done faster at a higher level of quality. If you will practice the law of 3, you'll transform your life. If you combine that with eat the frog, and work on your most important task, the one that can contribute the most value, and you can do that until it becomes a habit, just automatic. You get up in the morning and you just start working on your most important task and you say, no, I don't do that. I don't do little tasks. Those are not my job. People say, what about this? What about that? And you reply, excuse me, I'm management, not labor. I do management tasks. I do my big 3. Labor does all this other stuff. So you, the person who's watching this right now, are you management or labor? Think of yourself as management and do your 3 tasks. If you can do that until it becomes a habit, you are going to conquer the world. All of us, over the course of our lives, want to develop character. Character has been defined in several ways. One definition I like is that character is the ability to follow through on a resolution after the enthusiasm with which the resolution was made has passed. By the way, taking this course, you'll make a lot of decisions, commitments, and resolutions. The true measure of character is whether or not you have the capacity to follow through. Character, in effect, is self-discipline in action. You can tell how much character you have by how willing you are to discipline yourself, to make the sacrifices that are necessary in the short term to have a great life in the long term.